Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley. I mean, these guys were top three recruits in high school, and they ended up being the top three picks. Jalen Green, which was the number one recruit, which is kind of surprising, as Cade did go number one. But it's interesting to see how these guys were actually the top three picks, and will they pan out? I don't know. But Kuminga, fourth ranked recruit, ended up being seventh to the Warriors. He looks like to be a great young stud. Barnes, the fifth ranked recruit, and he went fourth to the Raptors, so he outperformed his high school ranking compared to these guys. He got drafted before Kuminga and after the top three, obviously. And then Suggs, the fifth overall pick to Orlando, he's the sixth ranked recruit, and he's the top five pick, so he might be a great player. It's kind of funny looking at these high school rankings because when you look at Harry Giles was the number one recruit in 2016, and he was pretty bad at Duke. And Josh Jackson, I don't even know if he's in the league anymore, but he hasn't panned out. The guys below them, Tatum, Lonzo, Bam, and Fox. Does that mean all the other four guys are going to be better than Cade and Jalen Green? Probably not. I think they're going to be studs for years to come, and they might be future superstars, maybe even win an MVP award. Let's first start off talking about with Cade. I mean, I believe he can win a future MVP, as I just mentioned, and look at him hit that three off the screen. Honestly, there's no weakness to him. He's a 6'7" point guard. He could create. Look at him with his handles getting to the rack. He's athletic, and I mean, he's just getting adjusted to the speed of the game. He hasn't shot the ball well, but I think he's going to be a great NBA shooter. I think he shot over 40% in college. He could dish, he could rebound. He could be a franchise player. The Pistons sort of need a playmaker. I mean, Killian Hayes isn't that great at being a playmaker or a scorer. They need someone like Cade. I mean, but it's going to be an interesting team to watch this year with the Pistons. They have Cade, Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bey, who was all rookie first team, I believe. They have Isaiah Stewart. They have Jeremy Grant, who ascended to a 25 points per game scorer kind of out of nowhere, taking a lot more shots than he usually had in his career. But I really like this Pistons team moving forward with Cade. I mean, I think he could average about 15, 7, and 5 this season, sort of like what LaMelo did. I think he could come in and be a spark. And he's also really humble, and he's fun to play with. Look at him with that behind the back and the three. He can create a shot from anywhere. He showed that in Oklahoma State and in Montverde Academy. So he's going to be a great player for years to come. I do not see him ever being a bust unless he tears his ACL 5 times or something. But he's got every move down. And look at that spin move, beautiful. He's gonna keep getting better and better. I don't know how good he'll be right away. I just said 5, 15, 7, and 5, but who knows? He could average maybe 27 and 7. Maybe he could have a sort of a historic rookie season out there. I love watching Jalen Green play. I know he gets blocked here, but his teammate makes the right read. But anyways, I think he could be. I mean, he might average over 20 points this season. He's going to get a lot of shots with the Rockets. They don't have that many good guards. It's just him and Kevin Porter Jr. They have Christian Wood. They're not going to be good, but he's going to get a lot of shots, and he's an efficient scorer. He shot over 40% from three in the G League Ignite. I mean, look at this catch and shoot three. The thing I like about him, he can play on or off the ball. He's great in transition using his athleticism. But the big thing about him, if he's gonna take that next step to be an all-time great or a superstar player, a true number one option on a championship team, can he impact the game in other ways besides scoring? I mean, we don't really know. I mean, most of his highlights are just him scoring. He could definitely make some plays, but he's just a pure scorer. He's sort of like a Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. Even though Booker kind of got his playmaking a lot better, he averaged a good amount of assists one season. I do know that, but Jalen Green, I mean, can he play defense? We don't know yet. He's just here to chuck a lot of shots and score, but he's a very efficient scorer, and as long as it helps the Rockets win, it's not a bad thing. But if he wants to take that next step, he's going to have to play maybe some defense, get better playmaking. But right now, he's going to be a great scorer, and he's going to be Anthony Edwards chucked a lot of shots. This guy's actually going to be efficient. He's going to score like 25 a night potentially and for 10 years to come. I really do like his game. Very smooth player. Now for Evan Mobley, I mean, this guy's kind of a unicorn big in a way. Look at him hitting the post fade there. I mean, he was Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, Pac-12 First Team. I mean, this guy, he could play both ends. He sort of reminds me of Jaren Jackson's body type. but I think he's a better offensive player than Jaren Jackson. I mean, Jaren Jackson's injury prone, but Mobley here he catches it at the high post, takes two dribbles, takes a pull up jumper. I mean, that's something that is Jaren Jackson esque. But I think Mobley has a better form and more better touch around the rim. So I do think that he can be a better player than Jaren Jackson. But here Mobley stepping up into a three. I mean, for Cleveland, I don't. It kind of is weird that they did draft him. I know he's the best, was the best prospect available. I mean, Jared Allen they gave 100 mil to after that, which didn't even make sense at all. I mean, a guard wouldn't really make sense for the Cavs roster. They do have Sexton and Garland, but I think Mobley should be playing the five and not Jared Allen. I think Mobley's at mobile athleticism. He could definitely pass. And look at him. He could do a hesitation three. That's something that only Anthony Davis really does as a big man. So coming into the league with this kind of playmaking and touch outside the basket, you don't really see it. I mean, Rudy Gobert, Jonas Valanciunas, all these centers don't have these playmaking or shooting abilities like Mobley does, and that's why he's a top three pick. He's such a prime prospect. I love his game, and I think he's going to be an all-star in this league. I don't know if he could be the best player on a championship team just because of how the NBA works now, sort of a wing or perimeter player is. But if he becomes just as good as Anthony Davis, maybe he could be. I mean, AD was the second option to LeBron, I would say, on that bubble Lakers championship. But Mobley's got a bright future ahead. I don't. He's not going to win Rookie of the Year, but he's definitely gonna be worse than Green and Cunningham out of the gates because he's probably not going to get the ball that much because Sexton and Garland are kind of ball hogs there. But I do like Mobley's future outlook. I think all three of these players, Cunningham, Green, and Mobley, are going to be future All Stars. You don't really see that in the top three or in most NBA drafts. So there's been a lot of busts over the years. And I haven't even talked about Barnes and Suggs, which I'll get into another video. I was not very high on Barnes, but he did play pretty solid in the summer league. But I love Mobley, Green, and Cunningham. This is great for the NBA. They all went to small markets somewhat. I mean, Houston's kind of a middle of the pack market. Detroit isn't really a big market. In Cleveland, and we know Cleveland's a wasteland out there since LeBron left. So I'm kind of glad these players ended up on those teams. It's gonna shift the NBA in a good way, and I'm excited for the future. So all three of these guys can easily be superstars. It's a bright future in the NBA. We have Zion, Ja, RJ, these guys, Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, Booker. All these guys are so young and so talented. It's just such a great time to be an NBA fan.